was he like, your dad?
It was just my dad.
It's just you seem pretty scared of him. Did he ever hurt you? Or hit you?
Nope.
He obviously went out to get groceries and other things for you. Did you ever go with him?
I wasn't allowed to go to the shops.
So you stayed at home the whole time?
I went in the car sometimes, but I never got out.
Didn't you ever wonder what it was like out in the world?
You don't break the rules. If you do, you get punished. I didn't like getting punished.
You are not going to get punished here. But it's never going to happen. What about other family, except your mum, of course? Did they ever come to visit?
Just me and Dad.
You don't have other relatives?
I don't know. Do I?
Now that we know your full name, Cash is going to look into it. So if you've got family out there, we'll find them. I promise.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Have you voted in the Logies yet, Sophie?
Oh, we're not allowed to, are we? Are we not allowed? Are we allowed to?
Well, you might want to try.
You have to put a postcode in, don't you, for Australia? No.
Just give it a go, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying whether I've done it or not.
Okay.
We forgot to mention last week. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Back at it again. We did forget to mention that, I don't know how, because it was big news last week.
It
The
was.
Logie shortlist nominations are open and Home and Away is up for 6.
Wow.
Dongs.
Yeah, well deserved. There's been a
Yeah.
lot of talk online, though, hasn't there, about who's been nominated?
Mm.
Because obviously, this is a really derogatory term, but this is what we call them, the oldies. The oldies have got all the noms, haven't they? And I think a lot of people have been saying that why wasn't Flick, included in the? Why was it
I
Mac?
saw this. Yeah, I saw some of this
Yeah.
conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting because so Lynn and Emily have been nominated, haven't they?
I think Ada as well, hasn't
And
she?
Ada, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
the first time. Like
Hmm.
definitely Lynn and Emily have been nominated. I'm not sure about Ada actually, but we normally have somebody in the best newcomer category, and that's nobody's there. So anyway, congratulations to all. So we've got Lynn, Emily, Ada, James Stewart, haven't we?
Oh yeah,
Ray Ma,
of course.
Old Ray, and of course the show itself.
Yeah.
For so if you are eligible to vote, do go vote. If you're not, go try vote. And vote for all things Home and Away. We should do something for the Logies when it's at the end of July. Let's put some events together off there.
It's on my birthday. It's on Sunday, 30th of July. It's the day that I turn old.
Okay. You might be. I might do something then. You'll be busy.
I'll be sozzled. I could probably do a live drop in. Hello.
I'll be at this weird event your mum told me to be at.
Oh, don't scare me, because okay, this is not podcast related. I went to see my parents on Sunday, and my dad, bless him, he doesn't really understand the idea of a surprise. He said to me, "What do you want for your birthday? Do you want a surprise party?" And I went, "Well, it's not really a surprise if you ask." Bless him. But the answer was hell no. Hell no, I don't want a surprise party. So don't, you're scaring me.
Oh dear, I've said too much.
You have. Don't. I've got sweaty hands just thinking about it. So, yeah.
Well, in which that case, then you've got your Logie vote. So, do you want your headlines as well?
I do.
All right then. Marilyn seeks the help of others to take on Stunning Organics. Rose makes a move and a fool out of herself while she's at it. Andrew learns some harsh truths about his parents. And Kahu's attempts to find an investor do not go down well with his family.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
It's worth mentioning because we picked the very beginning of the week, a bit of a non-story for this week, so it's worth just sort of, glossing over before we get into the nitty-gritty. We pick up Flick, don't we, after she's just been... Mac, after she's just been cold-shouldered by Kahu.
Oh, yeah.
When she asked him for a second hookup, and he's a bit like, oh, I've been warned off you. And she comes tearing into that brand spanking new, busy surf club with its brand new juice bar, looking very hustle bustle. She comes flying in, doesn't she, and has this huge sort of showdown with Marley, assuming Marley is the one that's told him to back off from her, doesn't she? And do you remember I was saying last week, I said to you, I'm expecting some sort of confrontation with Tane and Felicity for putting the, putting the beak
nose in.
Yeah, but that, it sort of didn't go anywhere. And I thought that was going to be quite a big sort of half of the week, was Mackenzie sort of feeling like everyone's on her and interfering. But actually, she sort of soon realised, she's firing staff. She takes out on everybody, doesn't she? She's firing staff. She soon realises she's made a mistake, apologises to him, and in sort of nice, quick Summer Bay fashion, he forgives her and all's well. Do you think she was right to jump the gun a bit there, or, a bit hot-headed? What's going on here with Mac? Are we worried about it too much? I'm a little less worried now than I probably was last week.
Yeah, she's not coming across as fragile, broken, getting drunk, crying on her own at home. It's not that, is it? She's, she's feisty and she's standing up for herself and she's telling people to back off. And quite rightly, really. It's nobody else's business but her own, what goes on, in her private life. So she's absolutely right about that. I think she put two and two together and came up with the best possible answer she could by accusing Marley. I don't think she knew that Tane and Flick were the ones, because there was no evidence that they weren't being weird with her, whereas Marley they'd had that set too the night before, hadn't they, at home, where he was like, "Are you okay? What's going on with Kahu?" And she was like, "None of your damn business." So they already had that bit of friction. So I think to accuse him, it wasn't really a wild accusation, was it, really?
No, that's true. And I felt like it was a bit of a non-starter as a result, because he's just so sort of, what have I done? Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's clueless. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of a non-starter, wasn't it? I felt like the whole thing was just getting Mac worked up so she could fire one of her staff members, so that it could fuel the whole Xander getting a job. I felt like it was orchestrated for that.
It was plot, driven, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so.
We're just kicking off at people in public for no reason. And I just thought it's just a bit odd.
Yeah.
Speaking of kicking off, Kirby's over at Orion's warehouse. And the unsuspecting Irene. She's with Maz and she's starting this fight, hasn't she? They've agreed to sort of go to the mattresses, haven't they?
Yeah.
And David and Goliath, they're going to take on Stunning Organics. You'll remember that they've been threatened with legal action, and they're not taking it lying down. Mainly Kirby in the driving seat here. Marilyn's sort of a bit nervous about the whole thing, isn't she? And she's trying to get others on board by using the internet. So she's contacting folk online from the reviews who have been stung before. They even set up this forum, don't they? This online forum.
Yeah,
Stunning Organics.
Yeah.
Victims.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Oh, and this is just as Maz is about to give up. Like, no one's going to come forward. No one's mad enough to take these guys on. We're going to lose. And I feel for Maz here because I feel like she's losing control a bit. Kirby's sort of, like I say, she's taken the driving seat, and this isn't Marilyn fighting and standing up and being loud and rallying the troops and going to war. That's not Marilyn, is it? She's more of a follower than a leader, I would say.
Yeah, well, she's more of a stash it in a house and bury your head in the sand kind of girl, isn't she?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Kirby's the one with the fire. I suppose it's easier for Kirby because she's not financially in any hot water. It's Marilyn that's in financial hot water at the moment, unless they do both get taken to court, and then obviously both of them could end up, in debt. But at the moment, it's only Marilyn that's lost the money. So Kirby really doesn't have anything to lose yet, does she? So,
yeah.
So she's going for it. So kind of makes sense.
I mean, and it spills into work as well. They're arguing, whispering and things, and Mr. Stewart getting his teas, walking on conversations.
So the roster.
Yeah, I love that.
So I'll do the roster. Yes. Yeah.
Thanks for coming in to read the roster, darling. But she didn't even blink, did she? No. I thought she's a pro. I was like, I see so much in yourself, and he's like, all right, Marilyn, I didn't come down in the last shower. What's going on?
Flaming hell's going on.
I thought it should have clicked a lot sooner. We were saying this previous. He and Rue. I actually thought he and Rue knew for a few days last week, and were just sort of testing the water. But finally, he's clocked. He smells a rat, doesn't he? I mean, Marilyn is like a headless Chuck at this stage. So, and how they've not sort of put two and two together beforehand, I'll never know. And even during this conversation, they're having this conversation, and Marilyn's getting notifications about deliveries. I mean, come on. And she's running back to Irene's house. Well, he's followed her, hasn't he?
Yes.
That moment when he walks in.
I know. I was like, oh, busted. I loved it.
I did laugh. I just went, oh dear. When you catch yourself talking to yourself at home
all the time. Yes.
But I did love it. She just looks up, Mr. Stewart's there.
Oh, what's all this? What's going on, Marilyn? Oh, I love it.
Now, good thing in the end, because she fills him all in. Defamation lawsuit to boot. She fills him in on everything, doesn't she? And actually, okay, he's got some questions. He's wanting to know what's going on, but he does come around and does say, you can't let these mongrels win. And I thought, do you know what?
Yeah.
Not what I expected of him, because he can be a bit hot-headed, can't he? So the fact that he has
grubs or something. Did he say grubs? He said something strange, and I was like, oh, I've not heard him say that before.
What was it? I've just put mongrels here.
You think he used that as well, but I'm sure he said something else like you can't let these grubs win or something. And I was like, oh, I don't think I've heard him say that before. I have to go back and watch it. I can't remember.
You have to look out for that. Yeah. Put it in the vocab. Get it in next week's app.
Yeah.
Of course, doesn't take him long to tell blooming Judgy Ruru, does it?
Oh, that doesn't take very much at all, because she was pestering him, wasn't she? And she was like, oh, what's going on with Marilyn? He was like, oh, I don't know. And then she was like, oh, maybe I'll ask John. And he goes, John doesn't know anything. And then she went, so there is something going on. I don't know anything. And then she was like, oh, should we go for lunch? And he went, oh, whatever you want, and walked away. And then it was only like 10 minutes into lunch. She was like, so what's going on with Marilyn? And then he was like, oh, well, I'll tell you. I was like, that didn't take long, did it? Sell her down the river.
Not long at all. You wouldn't give out any secrets to keep, would you?
Oh, absolutely wouldn't. No. Bless him. But no, he's not trustworthy, Al. Sorry.
Well, I was rolling my eyes like, oh, you just know she's going to put a beacon here now and judge her. And even when he walks in with ruined toe, and she's got Marilyn's reaction like, oh no.
I know, it's awful though, isn't it, when you think about it? Like, if I walked into a room and my best mate was like, oh God, no, don't have a go at me, I'd feel terrible that they think that, wouldn't you? Whereas Rue's just like, oh, I'm here to help you. Like, she doesn't go like, oh my God, she thinks I'm a horrible person. She's got no insight in herself, has she? At all. She's
No,
got no
no,
self-awareness of how
no.
horrible she can be. It's mad. But yeah, oh God.
She's surprisingly supportive, but like you say, her reputation precedes her, you know. And she, you know, she starts getting on the case, doesn't she? Digging up the dirt. Gerald's,
Elusive Gerald.
yeah, he's
Again.
he's happy to go on the dirt digging, isn't he?
You know,
Gerald.
he was a hotshot accountant in the city, you know, before he retired and became Surf
Well,
Club, whatever he is. Surf Club
you know,
Gerald.
you know what they say.
Mm,
You want to know where the dead bodies are?
yeah. That's Gerald.
I'm glad you finished it, because for some reason I picked up the glass while I said that. There was some should have if these walls could see me, if you could see me now, I was like picking up my glass of wine, going, you know what they say.
Oh God.
Been watching soap operas too much. So everyone's on the case now. They're digging up stuff already on Stunning Organics. The forum sounds like it's building momentum. Is this going to end well? Can they win against a company like this?
I don't know. I mean, I think Rue's, when Gerald comes back to him and says that there are some bodies and here is where they are, and Rue's got that idea to phone round and there's these people that have recently left, and there's a high flying financial officer or something that's left, or a lawyer or something that's left.
Not a good look.
And she's like, oh, this isn't good. You know, if highfalutin, people leave a company in quick succession, it usually shows there's something wrong with the company. It's a warning sign, isn't it? So she's ringing around and trying to get them to talk to them, because I think that would be possibly in their favour to get one of them to come forward and give evidence and say, yes, they're absolutely right. Because then it's not really defamation then, is it? It's they're telling the truth. I don't know how they'd prove it, but unless these people have got evidence, I don't know.
This is it. I think at some point, I think Marilyn particularly needs to weigh up the cost.
Yes.
Is it, the cost of fighting them or buying all the blooming products? What's worse? Do you know what I mean? And I think the same for Stunning Organics as well. Like, can we just cancel this woman's contract, and just absorb that cost rather than her stir up a load of crap online? Do you know what I mean?
They could pay her off and make her sign an NDA, couldn't they? They could say okay, we'll cancel your contract, no more boxes. If you sign this NDA, never mention us again. Yeah, it's all written off.
Case closed.
They could do that. But maybe they don't really think she's a threat. She's just some silly woman from a backwater town.
Yeah, and I think we're supposed to take that these are some awful people running this company.
Yeah.
And they're not kosher themselves, with their business practices. So yeah, I'm a bit worried about where we're off to with that, particularly as Marilyn's in choppy waters here. She's not used to being like this. And she could quite easily trip up.
Yeah.
Now, Rose has taken on some of Xander's surf lessons this week after Xander's badgered her to get close to Marley again, and sort of, she's been reading a few signs, hasn't she, for a couple of weeks, been seeing a few things there since they started talking again after the fallout. So she's taken on these lessons. There's some banter going on. Some might call it flirting, but definitely sort of.
There was some ankle stroking. Did you see the ankle stroking?
It was not sexual.
I was like cringing. I was like, oh, he's like, how does that feel? She's like, great. I mean, yeah, fine. I was like, this is making me cringe. Was it just me? I don't know.
No, you're not on your own. I was like, really? Someone wrote this scene.
Someone acted this scene. Oh, good Lord.
The problem for me is I don't feel anything for this coupling. So I'm just a bit like anything like that. It's just a bit orcs in it.
There's
You know what
no
I mean?
chemistry, is there? There's no
Mm.
we're not going, yeah, come on, get them together, I want to see it. We're not doing that, are we? There's just nothing between them. They may as well be brother and sister.
Are there people out there that are into that, like that are seeing something we're not? I wonder.
I
Get in
don't know.
get in touch if you're listening.
Hmm.
I'd love to find out, what you see that we don't, because honestly, it's just not there for me at all.
Hmm.
She goes in the surf, they're getting close, and she's like agreeing to stand up on the next wave, and the sea's completely flat.
I was saying that the next wave in about a fortnight because it was like a pond. I'm glad you spotted that as well because I was like, there are no waves. Oh dear, he's gonna have to make one. You know when you make a wave machine when you're in a pool when you were a kid and you just kind of flap around and make a load of waves.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to do that, I think, to make a wave.
This happens quite a lot on Homers because they all come running from the direction of the sea wet, but like with their surfboard underarm, but like the sea is calm as.
Yeah, they might as well be paddleboarding.
Yeah.
Dear.
Okay, so they've finished the surf lesson. They've been talking. She's reading the signs. Leans in for a kiss. He pulls away right off, like whoa, whoa, whoa. Now she then runs off to Salt, where Xander is doing his first shift there and then. As we mentioned earlier, he's got the job because someone got fired because Mac was in a bad mood. And so she's at the bar and he's drumming her up some Negronis and cocktails and God knows what. And she's getting absolutely rat-assed at the bar, trying to drink her humiliation away, isn't she?
Mm.
I'm mentioning this because I want to talk about some of the things she was saying to Xander. Did you pick up on it?
Oh, go. Tell me your thoughts.
I thought she was being really, really judgmental. And I know she was drunk, but she was saying things to him like, you waste your degree. Or, you've got a degree and, you throw your career away for a cocktail. And and I just thought, what's wrong with bar work? What is wrong with being a bartender?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Nothing.
And it wasn't that long ago that she was saying, oh, maybe the job's not for you, Xander, because you can't cope with it. He can't do right for doing wrong, this guy, can he? She's always got something that she's not happy with that he's doing. And a couple of weeks ago, it was like, oh, you can't handle the stress. And I don't want to tell you about Jamie's funeral because you can't handle going. And how can you handle going back to work? It was like, she didn't want him to carry on with that job. So now that he's got a different job, she doesn't want that either.
You're right. He can't do anything right, can he?
No.
I just felt like, imagine what the poor guy's feeling. He's just jacked his job in because of a trauma, not because like he's lazy or anything.
No.
And he's put himself out there. He's been round town asking for jobs, and that's nerve wracking as it is. He's had to explain along the way why he's not a paramedic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He lands on his feet because they really like him, don't they? And he's RSA already. He's already on. And he's in there and he's happy with it. He's doing a day's work and he's liking it. He's having an enjoyable day. And she's saying quite hurtful comments and quite derogative, sort of looking down on you, snobberish comments, I thought.
Absolutely. And when you contrast it with other people in the Bay who don't work, looking at you, Lyric, they do turn their noses up at that kind of job. Yeah. And they shouldn't be, because they should be doing those kind of jobs, having a job, like you say, not sitting around on your ass, not being lazy, not expecting your sister to pay your rent and all that sort of stuff. She should be happy that he's doing something and he's working on himself. And he may not be forever. It may just be something he needs to do right now, because it's different from his job that he obviously wasn't very happy in. I don't see the issue, really.
I don't.
If anyone should be, I don't know, snobby about it, it's not Rose, I don't think.
No. And if it wasn't for people doing those kind of jobs, you wouldn't have been able to sit there and get arseholed.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really bugs when people look down on people who do certain jobs. It really does. It's left a left a really bad taste in my mouth. That.
It shows why she's in her job, doesn't it? It says more about her than it says about Xander. You know, she wants the status and, oh, I work hard and I'm a copper and I need to be respected. She doesn't think that anyone else that's doing a different job can feel that way. But actually, that some people go to work because they enjoy the work, you know.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
might enjoy being a copper. Someone else might enjoy, you know, being in a bar, being around customers, having that customer relationship and seeing people having a good time and feeling part of that. And the reason why they're having a good time is because, you know, you're sort of facilitating that, and that's what makes some people happy. But she doesn't get that. She can't see it, can she?
No. Not my cup of tea, love. Not my cup of tea. You mentioned the band there because obviously we might as well talk about them. You've got, you know, they're brainstorming ideas for funding this album, aren't they?
Raffle.
Meat raffle, music trivia night.
I had to ask on Twitter what a meat raffle was. I didn't actually know. But who was it that told me? I can't remember now.
Have you never gone to town and there's like someone with a big microphone and they're like,
no, to town, like to a town centre, and there's someone with a microphone shouting meat raffle.
No, but they do them.
Do they?
Like the butchers and.
Oh, it was Michelle. Michelle said it's a selection of meats like sausage, bacon, steaks if it's fancy. You buy a raffle ticket, try to win.
Yeah.
But now I feel dumb if you weren't asking seriously, and then a long face. I was asking seriously, Michelle, and I'm glad you told me because I genuinely never heard of a meat raffle.
Really?
Totally passed me by. Where have I been living? In a bubble?
This has just brought me back to this conversation me and the other half had about fresh lasagna sheets at the weekend.
I know about that. I'm privy to this.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so and obviously you can buy a raffle ticket and end up with like 50 quid's worth of meat for like a couple of quid if you win.
Oh, see, I thought it was like some kind of, you know, when you buy a man for half an hour kind of raffle.
That's also that's a different kind of meat raffle.
They used to do them though, didn't they? Used to do like
Careful what you say.
They used to do those charity auctions where you'd bid on a guy. You know what I mean? We've seen them on TV shows before, haven't we?
Yeah, but I'm just gonna let you.
Because it's Australia, you know, they call things strange. They have strange names for things sometimes. So I was like, oh, meat raffle. Is that a man auction?
Let's start the thong debate.
Yeah. Thongs, yes. They don't go on your feet. Don't put thongs on your feet. No, that's not a good idea.
And if they're on your feet are in the wrong place.
Yeah, well, if they're on your feet, you're taking them off, aren't you?
So, the industry funding, they even tried that. They need a 5-year plan and a CV, and Remy's like, no. He's emailing people, see if they can get backers. Settles on a fundraising concert, and I love that line. And Eden's like, "Who are we, Bono?"
A charity concert. Yeah, it was a little bit cringe. But he doesn't want to ask mummy and daddy. Apparently, mummy and daddy are rich.
Story there, isn't there?
There's something about his family that we need to know, I think.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a bit of a teaser.
And I want to know about Eden's family in the funeral home. That was mentioned once months ago and never mentioned again. We
need all that, don't we?
Yes.
Now, loosely related to this, and we'll loop this back round in a mo, is over the way there, Casa Parata. They're firing up the Barbie.
Oh yeah.
Chucking a couple of shrimps on, and Kai's really, really eager to get Cash and Eden over there, and so he gets them over there, and he traps Cash quite quickly into talking about this blooming boat. And this business, this trawling business he's got going on, trawling scam, should I say, if you ask Sophie and I. He's obviously got wind that Cash has the inheritance. You called it, didn't you? Who else has got money? Cash got cash. You said it, didn't you? You did say it.
I did, actually. I was right, and I was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, in First Look, that was. You read out a line about him, hitting someone else up for money, and I was like, who? And we thought it was Alf, didn't we, to start with, because Alf's got the boat. So that was a feasible possibility. But no, it was Cash. Yeah, because I think it was that because of that really weird conversation where he said to Flick something about, oh yeah, Mac told me all about how you bailed her out, and Flick said, oh yeah, my inheritance money, and then Kahu said something like, oh, that must have been a lot of money then, and like something lingered for a bit too long, and I was like, oh, we're meant to remember this conversation.
Yeah, you were right. Yeah, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who else has
well
got
done.
money? Oh,
Well
who's
done.
related to Flick? Who else could have inheritance?
Well done.
It just,
I miss that.
it just keeps reminding me though that Cash has got this, unspecified amount of cash that's quite a lot of money. It's lying around somewhere, and yet he's living in the spare room of his sister's husband's house.
I know, it's silly, isn't it? And he'll be on decent wad on his money as well, on his wage.
Yeah, he's a officer.
Senior constable.
That's it, senior. Couldn't think of the word. Yeah, senior constable. Very odd.
So yeah, he's got a few bob, hasn't he? Anyway, says to him, look, I'm not investing in your boat, in your little boat. On your bike, love. On your bike.
On your boat, mate.
Tane's not happy, is he? You've embarrassed yourself. You've embarrassed me.
Yeah.
And I must say, it was really underhand to get people there under false pretenses. If he'd have said to Tane, look, I'm going to ask Cash, see if he wants to invest in the business, tell him all about it, get him over, let's have some food and let's just have a social event. If he'd have been up front, Tane might have done it, because Tane seems to be a bit gullible when it comes to Kahu. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He seems to accept things, even though he knows he's a bit of a wrong 'un. So I think Tane would have gone for that if he'd have said, I'm going to do this. I think Tane was caught off guard a bit and was a bit like, how dare you? These are my friends, my family.
Yeah.
And it's like Cash's own backyard.
Literally. Yeah.
But what Cash then does is think, do you know what? Yeah, I've got this money lying about. I'm going to pay for this 12 grand studio for the band instead. Don't go down well, does it, with Edom?
No.
What do you think? I think I'd be like her. I don't think I'd want. It's almost like being kept, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? When you date someone and they're the higher earner, and it's like they're offering everything, and you'd feel a bit like, especially if you're a bit of an independent gal, like you don't want everything done for you, like you're a kept woman. You want to earn something and want to go through the struggle and achieve it yourself. I can sort of get on board with that, to be honest. What about you?
Yeah, I think the same. I don't really like taking handouts for stuff. I never have done. I'd rather go without something than feel in debt to someone. It's not even a small amount. It's not like $100 or whatever. This is like 12 grand. So it's a lot. And I think the same as her. They've not been dating that long, not even a year. What if they break up? Then who's liable for the money? Is he going to chase Eden for the money, or does he chase the whole band? Because we've got to think about this. There's 4 of them in this band. They've only got to come up with 3 grand each, which, when you break it down like that, it doesn't seem that unachievable, does it? Or is it just me?
No. Do a meat raffle.
Meat raffle, yeah.
Not only that, that early doors in a Bono.
How much did they get?
That's really tickled me, that.
How much did they get for the bloody golf thing? Do you know what I mean? Like, that was done in about a fortnight, and that apparently bought a whole food truck.
Oh yeah, why have they not enlisted Rue? Should sort it.
Mad.
Do you know? To me, I just think now, I'm not really into these band storylines.
I know,
But for me, I think that would help the storyline of the band and like how the band came to be and got big. You know, nobody wants. You don't want to. They don't want to sit there, do they, being interviewed as a band in 2 years' time, and they've had a hit album out and they're on tour and they're being interviewed, and they don't want to go, oh, how did this album come about? Tell us about it. And they go, oh, my boyfriend gave us the money and we just went and recorded it. That's not a story.
Policeman boyfriend. It's got a twist on it when you put it like.
But if they were like, we were eating beans and we were recording in a garage, and then we
Yeah.
had to go between jobs and we had to do a bake sale and we had to do this, and it's
A
blood,
car
sweat,
wash.
and tears to make this happen. We walked over hot coals. Bree's backing up in that car wash all the time, getting a daily wash.
Yeah, definitely.
He was on heat, weren't she? Do you know what I mean? And so that's the story, the origin story of the band you want. That's a good story to tell to a
it's
journalist,
it's
isn't it?
rags to riches, isn't it? It's that whole kind of the people off the street, boy next door, girl next door kind of story where everyone feels like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. Not
Yeah.
just, oh, my copper boyfriend gave me 12 grand and we just recorded an album. Like you say, it's not really an origin story, is it?
No.
You wouldn't make that into a movie, would you?
No, definitely not. So, yeah, let's see. It doesn't look. I mean, she's told him, hasn't she? That I'm not going to accept the money, but then she's sort of run off before he could say anything, and that's where we're up to. Let's see. I can see a bit of a back and forth going on here with the money. Remy's not happy because he was, bouncing off the walls when he offered to pay.
He said he got it though, didn't he? He took a couple of days maybe, and then he was like, I get it actually now I've thought about it. She said, I knew you'd come round, I knew you'd get it. So is he going to go and ask mum and dad? Is that where we're going to go? Because he doesn't seem to want to, because I think Remy said something like, oh, I don't want to put it on hiatus for 6 months and then go and get a proper job. I was like, why not? Everyone else does. Come on, Remy. 6 months is nothing in the in the grand scheme of things. And if you really want it, you do whatever you can to get it, don't you? That's what I would do.
And do you know what? All these gigs they're doing can't be paying much, can they?
They're literally paying the rent, I think, aren't they?
So the numbers don't add up.
No.
So let's see what goes on. But yeah, you're right. It could be the parents, or they could all be, vying for a trial shift at the new juice bar. Right, let's talk about Soph. The story everybody's talking about. Andrew. He's pulled my heartstrings this week.
Oh
no. He and Justin, they're bonding, aren't they, over music when we rejoin them. Theo finally comes to the house. He's been mentioning a few times, hasn't he, with this weird bloke staying at our house, staying away. Thinking, what's he staying away for? Finally comes over and realises it's probably not all what he sees. Leah does fill him in on the way. And they suggest going to the beach, don't they?
Yeah.
And he's like, do I have to?
I've noticed that, because they keep saying he's like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old boy mentally. And I've noticed that kind of, when you ask a kid to do something and they go, why? And then you tell them why. And then they go, why? And then you tell them why. And then they go, why? And he's like that, isn't he? Like they go, do you want to go for a walk? Why? Do you want to go to the beach? Why? It's so cute. I find it quite adorable.
This to me, is making everything unmissable. I actually think I could watch Andrew discover sand between his toes and paddle in the water for the first time. I could watch that for half an hour. I don't need any other scenes.
I want to know what else he doesn't know. I want to keep showing him things he doesn't know so that we can see him react to it. That's what I want.
Isn't it? I caught myself smiling.
Yeah, absolutely.
At these scenes, did you?
Yeah, it was adorable. You'd have to have a heart of stone not to think that was cute. Come on.
Yeah. You even said so much on Twitter.
Yeah.
And even Leah's taken herself off to have a moment every now and then. I thought, here we go.
Leah's getting on my nerves.
Make it about her.
Yeah, because she's a couple of times. She's going, oh, I don't know how to help him. I don't know what to do. And going off around the whole world, talking to Bree, talking to Rue, and God knows who else, Theo, talking to everybody else about poor Andrew, and isn't it awful? I don't know how to help him. And then he literally asks her for help a couple of times, and she runs out the house. And I'm like, well, you could start by actually helping him, Leah. You clueless. Yeah. Anyway.
Bint.
Yes. That.
Yeah. She can get very frustrating. And look, she's worried sick, and I think she's trying to support in the best way she can, but her reaction just comes across as mixed. at
Yeah.
best. I'm a bit like, do you want him there or not? Like last week, he was staring at you, making you feel uncomfortable. Like,
Mm,
are we supporting this young boy or what? Do you know what I mean?
mm,
And I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it. I think the performance from the actor,
mm.
amazing, like
Really good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's really, really captured it, hasn't he? You know,
Mm,
that vulnerability, really, you know, so well. Um, he gives Leah a hug, you know, and she's still all being weird about it. Next day at the beach, Andrew, you know, back in the sea again, you know, can't get him out of it. Slight salt water fixes everything. Almost everything. Comes back and then he's bouncing, wants to go to the beach, wants to spend time out. He's never had this amount of freedom, has he? You know,
mm,
and Justin wants to take him down to the cop shop. There's news about his case, and he needs to
mm.
go and speak to. Is it the social workers or something? He's got to go and speak to. Anyway, he's like begging Leah, "Don't let me go, Leah. I don't want to go. Don't let me go." And I just thought, oh, my heart was breaking here. You know,
Mm,
I thought I can't, I still think it's really ambiguous about whether he wants to be there or not. And to me, that's making me think. That's making my mind run even more. You know,
mm.
he's not saying I love it here, let me stay here with you, and
Yeah.
he's also not saying send me back. Like I can't work out what he wants, but also I just know that he's responded to the stability that he's receiving. Do you know what I mean? I
Mm.
can't quite.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to articulate this.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. No, there's so many questions, isn't there, really, about what's happened to this guy, this kid?
Yeah.
What's happened to him? Why is he scared of his own shadow? You know.
What did you make of Justin losing his rag at him?
Oh, that was disappointing, wasn't it? I mean, I know it.
Mm.
I mean, it just brings us back to this whole: why is he allowed? Why is Justin, the recent criminal, allowed to have this kid in his house? You know, he's only had like 2 or 3 therapy sessions. His anger management hasn't been fixed, and that's evidenced by him get in the car, Andrew, isn't it? When Andrew's, I mean, he has to be, to his credit, he has had some really good scenes calming him down when he's got, you know, agitated by Cash's questioning, or, you know, anybody asking him about his dad or his mom, or, you know, what do you remember? Andrew's got agitated, and actually Justin has managed to talk him round. He's been quite good in those scenes, but that
Yeah.
was a reminder that Justin's not, you know, he's still got problems, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's it. That brought us back in the
Yeah.
room a bit with that, didn't it? Because I'd sort of forgotten until I was getting so engrossed in Andrew's story.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about, yeah, actually Justin's trying to work on himself here, and he's offering all this support for Andrew. So it sort of brought us back to earth a bit with that, didn't it? With a bit of a
Yeah.
bang.
And he mentioned his dad, didn't he? Like Justin's dad. He was like, "Oh, I lost my dad, and you know, I miss him, and I found out stuff about him when he was passed away, and I'm still coming to terms with it now." And I thought, yeah, you literally just coming to terms with it now. But we haven't seen the counselling or the community service since Andrew came into the show, have we?
We haven't.
Not been mentioned since.
No, we haven't. And it's like he's been completely preoccupied with Andrew, isn't it? So yeah, I think Justin needs to really not lose focus here. You know, and he needs to remember that he's got a lot of self work to do. That's one to watch, I reckon.
Yeah.
Now, down at YCPD, a neighbour from where Andrew was found has come in, and or she's come forward, and she's saying that she's seeing a 40-year-old. Oh, so old. 40-year-old coming and going. I want to joke. It's just because they were mentioning the age. I was like, "Ooh, he's much older."
Oh no,
Like,
I felt ancient. Thanks, Home Away.
It's like
This
40. Oh my god! They've been coming in and out of the house with the
With his
blue
cane.
little window.
Because he's so old. Oh dear. Oh no, don't start the blue little windows and everything is blue for him. Oh my god. 2 weekends in a row, that's been in my head.
The whole story. Every time I've got to mention this house.
Oh.
Never ever seen Andrew though. Ever
No.
coming and going from the house. Then there's this hilarious e-fit. Oh my god.
Which looks nothing like the guy that they pull up at the end. You know, the picture of the actual guy. I was like, that looks nothing like the photo.
Archie Lawrence.
Yeah, Archibald, or whatever his name
But
is.
then it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to run this e-fit through the database. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It'll hit like 1,000 people. Like, it's
They're just sticking it in a scanner.
it's so funny. I loved it. Loved it. I genuinely don't understand how those e-fit works because I couldn't describe my neighbour. I've seen my neighbour loads of times. I've spoken to him over the fence. You know, he's come to the door, we've dropped parcels off each other. I could not describe him and say this is what he looks like. Absolutely, I'm terrible. Do people really notice this amount of stuff about their neighbours? I don't. Definitely not. My e-fit of my neighbour would just look nothing like him. I know it because I actually don't know what he looks like, even though I've spoken
Yeah,
to him
you're right. I
hundreds
don't
of
think
times.
don't think I could manage it. I'd be like, bald, grumpy.
Yeah, that's mine. We've got the same neighbour. Yeah, like I just like, well, he's got like no hair and he wears t-shirts. I've got no idea. That's about it.
I'd be saying things like, washes the car too much. Nothing about their appearance.
Oh yeah.
Um,
We've got a car washer.
Mm.
Interesting.
It's just, I think, just the whole policey thing. That I'm just going to run this through the database and then stick
Mm.
it in this printer here. That'd be how I'd police if it was me.
Yeah, it's
Now,
fine.
all this is going on at the diner. Leah's asking Drew, "Can you help me make Andrew read and write?" I'm thinking it's going to be really good for him. I really want to help him.
This was
help me out.
hilarious. I'm sorry, I lolled. Ray was like, "Oh yeah, I can hit up my contacts and ask for a favour and get his school records." His school records? Who's giving you school records of children that you don't know, Rue? Like, this person you've got a contact with is dodgy.
Also, Sophie, he's not even got a birth certificate.
He hasn't, but if she's getting genuinely school records of kids that she barely knows off somebody, and that person needs to be fired. That's terrible. Good
Rue the
Lord.
rogue teacher.
Data protection, GDPR. Where are these people? Safeguarding children. I mean, come on. Anyway, that's my little rant.
You're right. Yeah. Well, either way, they're doing it. So
Oh, dear.
maybe Rue's got some dirt on someone, so that she's bribing him. Who knows?
Oh yeah, judgy.
And so there's this plan to assess him, and then they're going to help him read and write. And I'm just like, oh God, don't. It's all a bit much, this, isn't it, all at once? You know what I mean? For the poor thing.
Well, I said this on the first look last weekend. I was like, the poor lad's been through enough without having to spend the afternoon with Rue reading Shakespeare. You know what I mean? Like, leave the kid alone.
Thou shalt always kill.
Oh dear.
That song's going to be in my head now.
Good. That's your earworm. Thanks for mine.
Thou shalt not make repetitive generic music. Thou shalt not make repetitive generic music. Thou shalt not pimp my ride. Thou shalt not watch Hollyoaks.
Oh yeah. Watch Homers.
Now,
Mm.
Archie Lawrence is identified from the database and from this fabulous e-fit
And from magical voodoo.
from the best police force in the land, Yabby Creek PD. And it's not good news. Turns out he's passed 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
So starting to join some dots here now. So Andrew was hungry at the house, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It sounds like Archie comes and goes, and Andrew is sort of locked up. And he's gone out, obviously, and not come back.
Yeah.
Turns out he's passed away. Now, he's brought into the police station, Andrew, and he's made aware of all this news, isn't he? He's been shown the pic. He says he identifies that it's his dad, but he says, I'm not allowed to talk about him. So that's that. And you're thinking, oh gosh. Now Justin, I think, was really good here. Takes him out for a walk, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he says, look, it's not good news. Your dad's passed away. He's not coming back. And I was fixated on Andrew's response here because I was thinking, what's his reaction going to be? And it wasn't sadness. It wasn't. I'm not saying he's not sad, but his reaction wasn't what I thought. His reaction was more about, okay, what happens now? Was I think is what he said.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, what happens to me next? What next? Like he wasn't. I'm thinking, does he grasp the gravity of what's just been said?
No. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, does he really understand what's happened, or I don't know. Like, because we don't know what their relationship was like. We don't really know whether he's, like you say, he's got mixed feelings. Like his dad's kept him in this house. He's only ever known his dad. It's more like hostage and kidnapper, isn't it? Than a kind of normal family, son and father relationship. So is he glad that this guy's gone? Is he sad that this guy's gone? Is he both? Because he's his dad, so he loves him, but he's also sheltered him from the entire world and led him to where he is now, where he's without him he's completely lost.
I don't mean this derogatively as well, but is he, I'll add on to that list of questions, is he sort of developed enough to feel it, like mentally, like kids don't understand.
Has he lost someone before? Does he understand death? Does he, if you've never if he's only ever known his dad, he's never had a pet, he's never had a friend, he's never had a grandma or a granddad, he's never known anybody to die. It doesn't look like they watch the TV or anything like that in that house. They've got no power. So he's had no concept of death. Does he really understand what it means? And does he know how to process it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's really sad, isn't it? Really. And I thought for such a little response, we could read so much into it. And I thought it was really, really cleverly done. Now, that's not the end of it, though, because then he's whisked back to the cop shop again with more news, because they're looking for Mum, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it turns out, and Cash is there, he's got this missing poster with a picture of baby Andrew. And it turns out Andrew is a missing child, was reported missing at age 4 by his mum. Father had taken him, hence him being locked up. I'm starting to piece together his relationship with his father. Probably didn't have a lot of love in it. He sounds like he's been completely, not brainwashed, but completely segregated from everything. And at 4 years old, you learn from your surroundings, don't you?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how is this young chappie going to take all this news? There is a bit of an outburst, isn't there, when it all starts building up and they're asking and they're asking and they're asking. He's had it drummed into him not to talk. Like, he needs some serious help here. Justin can undo so much, in my opinion, at this stage. This is a lot to hear. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I've got so many questions about his reaction, actually, to, when he was saying, when Cash had explained to him, he said, it looks like your dad's, took you at the age of 4. Your mum thinks you're a missing person. She's been looking for you. And Andrew gets upset, doesn't he? Kind of throws his chair. And they go, all right, calm down. And then he has a minute on his own with Justin. And he goes, that copper doesn't know what he's saying. Like, the policeman, my dad would never do that. My dad loves me. My dad did all of this because he loves me, So this started to make me think. I was like, is that stuff that his dad told him to say, I love you, this is why you can't leave the house? Or is there something genuine behind that? Did he really love him? Did he take him away from his mum because his mum was the dangerous one? And to keep him safe away from his mum, he had to do this. Like, don't trust anybody. Don't tell the cops you're here. she'll get you back, and then something awful will happen to you. Is it that? So who's the baddie? Is it the mum or the dad? Because
Oh yeah, I've not even considered that.
I can't grasp it, because it's just because of that one line where he said, "My dad wouldn't do this. My dad loves me. He did all of this because he loved me." I was like, that's something that an abuser says, but if you flip it, could it be genuine? He's done this because he's trying to protect him. I've got no idea. It could be 50-50. I haven't got a clue.
God, this is why this is so good, though. This is why this is so good. And honestly, like this, we've not even begun yet, have we? And
No.
I'm already loving this. Like, this is making the show unmissable.
Absolutely. And the hashtag is buzzing for, because we have weeks where the hashtag kind of dies off and nobody's talking, but this is, I've noticed people that used to tweet on the hashtag have started tweeting again, because this storyline's gripped people, I think, and got people back into the show.
Yeah, this is, and it sounds like, from what little I've heard, because I'm trying to avoid things as best I can, sounds like it's got legs and he's still about a bit on our screens. So
yes, one of our followers said that he's still at Oz pace.
Yeah,
so it's not a quick flash in the pan and he's gone, by the sounds of things.
Oh, it's exciting! It's exciting.
It is. Yeah. Oh, well, that was a week on Homers, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Gosh, I'm exhausted just talking about it.
It's good,
though. You? It's good. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm ready for next week as well. But before, we're going to get onto Your Say on the Bay in a minute, aren't we? But before we do that, I think we should mention your post that you put out on social media this week, because that got some people excited. We had some tweets thinking, we put out a very teaser spoiler, didn't you? Saying, "Oh, we've got news at 7 p.m." And was it Michelle that sort of said, "No!" I think was expecting some bad news from us, and we were like, "No, doll, it's all good."
I'm sorry, Michelle. I was in the mood to have a play with you the other day.
Oh, we were like, no, we wouldn't do that to you, doll. Don't worry about it. But it is exciting news, isn't it? Because next week, next week, because it's Saturday now, isn't it? Next week, on Tuesday, the 4th of July, it's our 2nd anniversary, 2 years of Coastal News, a home and away podcast. A milestone.
Yay! Whoop!
Exciting. So, do you want to talk people through what we've got
I do.
in store?
Yeah, I do. Yes. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
So this episode that you're currently midway through is the start of a bumper week. So you're going to need to clear those diaries. There's a lot of content coming. Sophie and I have been hard at work. We love a milestone. It's been a couple of years. It's been great fun. And we've got some extra stuff coming your way. So quick rundown of the schedule. You've got your normal episode that you're currently listening to now, so that one's out. Sunday evening at 7 p.m, as always, every week, is your first look of the week ahead of our anniversary week. And then Monday evening at 7 p.m, there is a special bonus episode in conversation with Sophie, where I basically, get Sophie a bit nervous, sweaty back of your knees, get a grilling. And then, but no, it's not all one way. She gets to do it to me the day after at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So there's an episode now every day, 4 big episodes. Fill your boots. Thank you all for listening. And yeah, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Okay, guess what time it is?
Chico time. No, sorry.
I wasn't expecting that. It's not. I'm going to be disappointing you now, because it's really not Chico time. Sorry. I feel bad. It's Your Say on the Bay time.
Oh, even better. There we go.
Okay,
pull that back.
Phew. I was like, I was going to be really sad now. It's not Chico time. It's Your Say on the Bay. This is our segment where we look at your say. on what's been happening on Home and Away this last week. You've just heard an hour of us telling you exactly what we think of the show this week. So now it's your go. You get to have your say, not just our voice on the podcast. So I've been having a nosy on Facebook and Twitter and all over the place, and I'm going to read out some comments to Si, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about what you guys think. But just before we crack on with that, as I've mentioned, I'm looking on Twitter and Facebook. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Coastal News Podcast, Home and Away Podcast. Our account name is Coastal News Pod. Find us, like, subscribe, leave us a review if you want to. That would be fabulous. We'd love that. And tweet along with us. So we watch the show at 5-star at 6:30. We tweet along with the episodes on the hashtag Home and Away on Twitter. So join in the conversation. There's quite a lot of people tweeting at the moment because everyone's getting excited about this Andrew storyline. So it's pretty cool.
Got your work cut out on this, haven't you, at the minute?
Well, I know. I'm like, wow, it's great. But I'm overwhelmed sometimes with the amount of messages we get. It's brilliant.
The other night, you were like, "I'm burning my tea." I was like, "I'll take over."
I know, we had to like tag team tweet along, didn't we? We were like, "Oh," I was like, "I'm going to burn my pasta." Oh dear, I can't remember what I was cooking now, but it was definitely being left on the hob for too long, and I was like, "I need to stir." Oh, I think it was a paella. That was it. It's me paella. So yeah, we do tweet, and the hashtag is getting a little bit busier, which is great. Love it. So what have people been talking about this week? So do you think we should let people in on the little secret? Because some of these tweets are, it's going to be obvious that we're not talking about the most recent ones. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, go for it. Why not?
Okay. So unfortunately, Si is not available for podcasting this Friday or last night because he's got other plans. How dare he? And just me washing my hair normally, that's my plan. So we are recording this in advance. So we're recording this actually on Wednesday evening. So we've only seen all your reactions up until Wednesday. So we haven't seen your reactions from Thursday's episode and Friday's episode. So that might come across in the comments that we've read out. We'll get to those next week though, won't we? And we'll read those out on next week's show. So one of the things that people have been talking about up till Wednesday, because Wednesday night's episode, we've been seeing the lyric conversation. I'll say lyric conversation. It's Remy and Eden really talking about this album, 12 grand, where we're going to get the money from, meat raffle, all that stuff we just talked about on the podcast. And there's lots of people on Twitter, and Sarah's one of them, saying, "I've got a great idea how to make money, Lyric. Get a job. Get a bloody job. Get a bloody job." So Sarah said that on
Get
Twitter.
Off your backside.
Get a job. We're not the only ones thinking it, so it's quite nice to see that. And Mr. David said, exactly, how entitled of them to expect other people to finance their album. There's a lot of thoughts on this. Obviously, I explained earlier that I have now been told what a meat raffle is. Thank you very much. I didn't know what a meat raffle was. And I'm glad for the explanation, because my imagination was wandering into unknown territories. So yeah, a lot of conversation about that. You're on my side. One of the other topics that people have noticed is a very quick scene, actually. So it's Eden again. So did you see that scene? I don't think we mentioned it on the main pod, where Eden popped into Yabby Creek Police Department, popped in to see Cash, took him a burger, took him a donut, sat on his lap. Did you see that? Sat on his lap. Senior Constable Newman.
I know what you're going to say. In
a police station. His girlfriend's brought food in. She sat on his lap while he's given her all the information about Andrew's dad in the confidential file on his computer. And lots of people have picked up on this. So Nina said, Eden and Cash are really unprofessional in Cash's place of work. He's a policeman. She strolls in, sits on his lap, and then he tells her a name of a suspect in an open case. Yes, Nina, we're also questioning this. And Julie's on board as well. Julie Smith, she said, as if Cash would be telling Eden all that confidential information with her sitting on his knee in the office. Just getting a bit far-fetched, this.
It's a bit of a stretch, isn't it, now?
It's a bit of a... And the funny thing was, I'm sure while this conversation was going on, they were calling someone else unprofessional, and I was like, "Pot kettle black, guys. This
I
is
feel like I remember. I do. Yeah, it was. It would never happen, would it?
it
But I
wouldn't."
feel like it was for our benefit. It was like you
Mm,
know, sometimes the script gets its big beating stick out, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah,
And it goes, "You need to know this name, audience." Wham, wham. He's found the
yeah.
person. Whack with the big stick. So it was for us, but yeah, she should not have been anywhere near the
No,
computer. Or, I mean, he just blatantly said, "I found him. His name is Archie." Like, no,
give him
you just
give
don't
her the
do
whole
that.
detail. Tell Justin, obviously, or tell I don't know someone else that's involved in the case, Leah or whoever. But Eden, while she's sat in a tiny skirt on your lap in the middle of work, it's a bit weird.
It's
It's
an
a bit
hard
weird.
life, isn't it?
Oh
Hard
yeah,
life. Mm.
exactly. Yeah. Anyway, enough about Cash and Eden and that scene. What about Andrew? So everybody on the hashtag, I can't see a bad thing about Andrew. Everyone's absolutely loving this. Everyone was really, like you say, gripped by the storyline this week, especially these scenes, lovely
Oh,
scenes with Justin and Theo. Not only the guitar, what Andrew just mesmerized by Theo and Justin playing the guitar, but obviously his first trip to the beach, his first walk on the sand, his first wave, that he's put his feet in.
yeah.
Just everyone was lapping this up. So Jamie on Twitter said, "It's been a very long time since Home and Away made me shed a tear, but the scene with Andrew on the beach for the first time ever and walking into the water did just that." And there's been quite a few
Oh.
people that have been saying the same thing. It's
This has
just
just been a
pulled people's
tidal wave,
heartstrings.
hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't it show you the power of a good story though?
It does.
You
And it's
know,
what people wanted, isn't it? I think they are genuinely getting, this young person, troubled, comes to the bay, that Home and Away of old that we talked about last week on the podcast. It's what people asked for, and I think they're doing a really good job with this storyline so far.
yeah,
We'll see how it
yeah,
goes.
yeah,
But so far, I think everyone's really enjoying it. Lots of people really enjoying the introduction of Theo to Andrew's life, because obviously up until now, we've only seen him interacting with Justin and Leah, really, and Cash, obviously, who he's not very keen on. But introducing Theo is actually a bit of a stroke of genius, because I think Theo's been able to empathise with Andrew now he's met him. I think he
yeah,
sees himself in Andrew, doesn't he? His upbringing with his dad, and how
yeah.
skittish Andrew is, and how scared he is of everything. It's kind of reminding Theo, and it's reminding us actually how far Theo's come on the show. That he's able to be that mature friend that Andrew needs. That's not that much older than him. Not like an adult like Justin and Leah, but like a bit closer to his own age. A bit
I
an
know.
older brother type. A lot of people have been saying those words, like he's a bit of an older brother.
It's stark, isn't it? That
Mm,
you see, just we've said a few times how much Theo's matured, but this has really made it obvious
mm,
because he's really stepped up to the plate a bit here,
yeah.
and gone out of his way, hasn't he? In a really caring way, and you just think, where's that buffoon that arrived that threw locked Ryder in the boot and drove him to that club. Do you remember?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, and buried him
where,
alive.
you know, where? Thank God he's
Yeah,
not here. He's come. It's such a long way. I don't think you could get any further away from that. He's
absolutely.
really,
Yeah.
really done himself proud, I reckon, lately, Theo.
Yeah, and he's getting a lot of praise, like I say, on the hashtag. I think it was Jacob that tweeted us and said, I'm really enjoying these scenes, and I'm enjoying seeing sort of Theo take that older brother role. And that's what I've been seeing lots of people refer to him as, like the older brother.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, it's been really nice to see that. In fact, Sarah, now you just mentioned Ryder, it reminded me, Sarah actually tweeted us and said, because I think you'd had a conversation with Sarah about how Theo's matured, and you
yeah,
mentioned buried alive and all that stuff he used to do, when we knew
yeah.
him, when he first came to the bay. And Sarah said, "Oh, imagine if Ryder comes back."
Oh, don't set me off.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, it's been really nice. Jacob says he's been enjoying watching him slowly come out of his shell. Hopes he'll be around, and be an established character. Lots of people saying that. Michelle's saying she hopes he sticks around, really enjoying the storyline. So I think it's not just us. Lots of people are gripped by this story.
Good, and long may it continue. Everyone is loving the show right now, and it's mainly this that's driving that. There's some other great stuff going on as well. Let's but this has really sort of captured something with us, and I just honestly, genuinely can't wait to watch another.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.